Hey guys, it's Darlene and welcome to my channel. Alright, so today is my 2-year anniversary for breast cancer, and so as always I'm sharing my journey with you. So let's go ahead and jump in. So for those of you that are new here and this is the first video of my breast cancer journey, I do have a playlist. From the very first moment that I found out that I had breast cancer all the way through my surgeries and follow-ups, I have shared as much with you as I possibly can. They are in a playlist, so feel free to, you can stop here and go back if you want, or just find out how I'm doing with my 2 years. So I found out in 2019 in May that I had breast cancer. How did I find out? I am a very proactive, preventative person. I was an x-ray tech specializing in CT for many, many years. My husband's also in the medical field. So I'm very proactive. I get my, skin cancer check. I just had that 2 weeks ago. I do my yearly mammograms, pap smears, all the stuff that we're supposed to do in order to keep us healthy and to catch things at the earliest stage. So I'll just give a little background story. So in 2019 I went for my routine mammogram, and a few weeks later they sent a letter saying, oh, we need extra views. I really wasn't stressed out about it because I'm an x-ray tech. I know that things could happen, the film be blurry, whatever. And so I really didn't think anything of it. And I did the mammogram, and then we also did the ultrasound. During the ultrasound, I knew something was wrong, or I knew they found something. What it was, I didn't know, and I'm not sure at that point that they knew. Like, I didn't know that they knew. And when the technologist finished, she went to go get the radiologist. This was really never a good sign. And I called my husband and I said, I think something's up, radiologist is going to come in. And he's like, okay, keep me posted. So she came in, she did the same thing, just ultrasound exactly over what the tech did, and sat me on the edge of the bed and said, you need a biopsy. It's probably cancer. I was like, well, okay, I hear the word probably. I'm a glasses half full kind of girl, and I also know that there are many, many things inside our body that are absolutely benign. So I said, well, besides cancer, what else could it be? And she said, it's cancer. And I was like, oh. I did use a swear word because I've already had to fight cancer in 2011, thyroid cancer, and I was like, are you effing kidding me? And I knew that I couldn't break down right then and there, because I thought to myself, you have to be able to get dressed, get in your car, and drive home, right? Safely. So my husband's by this time like calling because I'm having to get dressed and, try and get out. My husband then called and I said, it's breast cancer. I'll call you when I get home. I called, I explained. He's like, and what's funny is he specializes in, and he's more of a vascular technologist. I dealt more with CT. So for me, this is how I put it, because a lot of people go, well, how did she know that it was cancer? Well, she was 99.9% that it was cancer based on the characteristics of what she was looking at. Same thing, I don't know breast, I know lungs, liver, because I did CT. So when we see a nodule in a lung, if it's spiculated and a certain size, the odds are greater that it is cancer than it is not. So it just had the characteristics. But she scheduled a biopsy. But I got home and I told him, and I, cried my eyes out, and then I was sitting on my front porch, and then I picked up my camera. And that was the first one I did, the first video. And I knew, I didn't know how it would translate to you all, because this is a beauty and fashion over 50 channel, but it's also a life channel. And 1 in 8 women will get cancer. So I figured, well, I'm just gonna put it out there. 1, it was super cathartic for myself, and 2, the love and support that I got from you guys was astronomical. Like, it was amazing. And then the thanking me, not that that ever needs to happen, you never have to thank me for sharing my story ever, but the thanks for sharing your story, and I didn't know this or that, or you know, it was just overwhelming. Like there were times where I couldn't even read during that time period because I would just break down in tears, like every time, break down in tears and tears, because of how many women were affected by this. Not about my own breast cancer, it was about other women. So that is how it started. And so we are hitting 2 years, we did hit 2 years. July 26th was my 2 years, excuse me. And so I'll talk about, in my videos, I talk about a lot of the physical aspect of it and a lot of the emotional. There are two things that I want to say first and foremost. One is never compare your journey to anyone else. Your journey is yours. We can have the exact same cancer, and what affects you and how it affects you may be completely different than what affects me and how it has affected me. So please never look at someone and go, oh, well, why can't I just bounce back like that? Or why can't I do this or that? Or why? No, don't ever do that. Your cancer, your journey is your journey, and you are a warrior fighting your cancer. And that's number one. Number two, make sure June's behind me. Number two is that cancer, I've said this many times, cancer makes us make decisions we should never have to make. And that is so incredibly true. I get angry at the amount of decisions that we have to make with not a lot of information. And I will say one of my biggest pet peeves, so those are two things that I say every time, hasn't changed. The other thing that has never changed is that I think physicians, whether they be oncologists, radiation, plastic surgeons, they need to be more transparent about the risk factors. Now, maybe not every patient is like me, but here's why I think they need to be more transparent with what can happen. First of all, 1 in 3 women will have a complication with a mastectomy. Nowhere did anybody ever say that. And there's nowhere does it say these are the most prevalent complications. You know, they don't talk about that. They talk about, hey, you want perkier boobs? We'll do both of them, and and you'll have 20-year-old boobs, and then you get all excited, and that's great. But here's my thought process on. Tell us the risks while we're at our strongest, not while we're at our weakest. We are at our strongest prior to our journey. The journey really hasn't started when you find out you have cancer. You've just found out you have cancer. Journey hasn't started. So believe me when I say you are mentally and physically at your strongest because you haven't started the journey yet. So in my case, I didn't know that 1 in 3 people would have 1 in 3 women will have a complication, and I had every single freaking one of them, no joke. The other thing is I could have easily chosen radiation and a lumpectomy and radiation. I chose a mastectomy. Why? Because something and I don't really know how to explain it other than something inside me, and listen to yourself, listen to your body, you know it better than anyone else. Something inside me said it's better to do the mastectomy, and afterwards they take the entire breast and they have it biopsied, and sure enough there were 4 or 5 areas that were precancerous. So my surgeon even said, my oncology surgeon said, you knew something we didn't know. I don't know how I knew it, I just knew it, you know, it just God, you know, he's a big part of getting me through this journey, 100%. So, I chose the mastectomy, and of course, I'm not going to go through everything, but basically everything that could go wrong went wrong. I ended up with 3 operations in 7 weeks with a hospital infection and dying necrosis. You know, my skin was dying, what I had left of my breast, the skin tissue died, and at the 3rd time we were going in for surgery, I said, you're going to take out the spacer. It's a spacer that's what creates the space to then put in an implant. I said, take it out. I'm done. I'm not going through this again. My body has told me that this is not for me. I'm meant to be a one-breasted woman, and I'm okay with that. And the other thing I will tell you, whether you have 2 breasts, 1 breast, or no breast, it does not define you as a woman. And if anyone tells you it does, leave that person immediately. Cut ties, walk away, because it's bullshit. And I'm going to say it right then and there, it's bullshit. You are beautiful, and in fact, you are more beautiful than the women that have not had to fight this, because they have no idea what you're going through. Men or women that have not had to fight this disease have no idea what you're going through, and you are a freaking warrior. Make no mistake about it. So I get a little heated because, you know, there are people that doesn't matter. Okay, so let's talk about 2 years. So it's been 2 years, and how am I doing physically, emotionally? Has any of my thoughts changed? My feelings changed? No. Would I have done everything the same? Yes, I would. The only thing, with the knowledge I had, would I have done anything differently? No, I would have still had a mastectomy. And I still would have tried for reconstructive surgery. Of course, had I known the risk, then maybe I would have. I don't know. It's hard to, you know, 2020, right? I don't know. But I wouldn't change anything. How, physically, how am I feeling? Fine. You know, I have other issues besides having breast cancer. I had thyroid cancer, and that almost is worse because I don't have a thyroid, so I can't regulate a bunch of different things in my body. They damage the parathyroid gland, so I can't regulate calcium. I have a magnesium deficiency, so there's a lot going on physically that I just don't, you know, share for no particular reason. I mean, I'm not opposed to sharing it if y'all want to know. And I also briefly talked about the fact that I have an anxiety disorder, and a video is coming sometime in the future about my anxiety disorder. So I have all of that to deal with on top of it. And then menopause, of course, you know, I've gone through menopause, or in the process of going through menopause, and that is obnoxious as well. But as far as the breast not being there and my health with regards to that, 100% no problems. There's been no issues or anything of that nature. I see my oncologist between 6 months and a year usually, and everything is fine. We do blood work, everything is fine. Now the type of cancer that I had, which is an estrogen feeding cancer, I really should be taking, oh my God, aromatase inhibitor. But again, it's a choice that I decided I was not going to go down that road. An aromatase inhibitor, so my cancer feeds on estrogen, okay? Now, even though I've gone through menopause and my ovaries do not produce jack crap of estrogen, because trust me on this, my metabolism is zero. I have no metabolism. There are other organs in your body that produce smaller amounts of estrogen. So is there a possibility that cancer could go somewhere else and feed off of another organ that produces estrogen? Yes. An aromatase inhibitor basically inhibits estrogen. So it kind of starves the cancer cells. It has nothing to eat. Now, why do I choose not to take that? And that choice will remain for me because the risk factors and quality of life, first of all, because the quality of life is incredibly important to me, okay? How I'm able to live my life is incredibly important to me. Aromatase inhibitors, when you take away all of your estrogen, you can get severe joint pain. I already have joint pain. I don't need severe joint pain. I don't need to where I can't walk across the room. My neighbor across the street has had breast cancer, and she tried it for a week. She couldn't walk across the room. So there's just, I know women that have taken it and then women that have not taken it. And I do realize that I put myself at a slightly greater risk, but I've read all of the literature. And by literature, I mean studies, and I made the best informed decision for myself. I'll leave it there. So I won't be changing my mind, at least right now. Physically, yes, not a problem. Emotionally, not having a breast. There are times, like during summer when I'm shopping for swimsuits, that it's annoying. I wouldn't say I look at myself in the mirror every single day. I don't even notice it. It's like I have a scar across my neck from when they, did the thyroid surgery. I don't even see that anymore. Do I see this? Yes, I have to put in I don't have to, but I put in a prosthesis every day that I get dressed or go to the pool or whatever. So it doesn't bother me. I don't know why. I can't say that why it doesn't bother me, but it just doesn't. I don't know if it's that I'm not the type of person that would ever, prior to this, have gotten breast implants or liposuction or tummy tucks or any of that stuff. I just wouldn't risk my health, even prior to this, for what I'll consider for making yourself look younger or better purposes. I find my health to be way more important than if I have a flat stomach or if I have bigger boobs or perkier boobs, right? I was gonna do breast implant because I wasn't gonna have a breast, right? I mean, it wasn't my choice. Well, it was my choice, I guess, but it wasn't, something that I was just doing out of vanity. I was doing because I had cancer. So even before this, I was never that girl, right? I've never had Botox. I talk about this on my channel, and I'm not. Look, everybody makes their own decision, right? Again, my journey, everybody else has their own journey. If they want to do stuff for plastic surgery purposes, for whatever reason, do it. It's your body, your choice, your decision. But for me, I knew that was never going to change. Now, had my plastic surgeon on the third surgery really listened to me, and I said I am not ever going to try a surgery again, take it out, what she could have done is made it flat, and that would have been a much better look. Instead, she left some skin in case I changed my mind. And as I tell her every year, I'm not going to change my mind. In fact, actually this past year I said, I don't see a reason to take up a spot from someone else that could definitely need it, because I'm not going to change my mind. And so I really don't see I love my plastic surgeon. We follow each other on Instagram. But love her. She got me through a lot. And it, everything that could happen did happen, and it sucked. So physically, I don't, do I look at past photos sometimes because I'm going through, like, for Instagram or a video or something, and I go, damn, I had a good pair of knockers for, I think I was 52 at the time. I'm like, damn, I miss those 52-year-old boobs. But other than that, no. Do I have to change the way I dress? Yes, y'all know that. If you follow me on my fashion channel, with the fashion, of course, you realize that I can't do low-cut V-necks without a cami, and that annoys me because it's a lot it's just one of those things where I've had to alter. But I'm alive. Are you kidding? I'm gonna bitch about the fact that I can't wear certain things. No, I'm alive. I'm here. Clothing, I can find fashionable clothing that works with the prosthesis without a problem. Do I ever get emotional about the cancer in general? Very, very rarely. Is some of what I'll call the pitfalls that I have found in the last 2 years that emotionally I wasn't necessarily prepared for. Now, I've done a whole emotional part of going through the journey, but once you become cancer free, once you become, all the surgeries are done, the radiation, the chemo, whatever you need to go through, once that's all done, and then you start living life again, there are still triggers, what I'll call triggers. For me, these are mine. Breast Cancer Awareness Month will always be a trigger. It affects me because I know 1 in 8 women will get breast cancer. It affects me because I feel like that is bullcrap and we should do better as a nation. The other trigger will always be my anniversary of being cancer-free. Of course, there's always a happiness to it, but there is also a sadness to it because I know there's so many women that don't get to have their anniversary, right? Wherever it stopped, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20, wherever it stopped because of breast cancer, and they didn't get to have their next anniversary. That hits me hard. The third thing is that not everyone's going to understand why your anniversary is so important to you. Your husband might not, your children might not, your friends might not. They may not understand why it means so much. And so I take these anniversaries bigger than my birthday or bigger than, you know, basically anything else, because it's there could be one day, the way I look at it is there are women that don't get to have another anniversary that have had breast cancer, and that is very difficult for me to deal with, and that's when it hurts my heart, you know. And I will say emotionally, the other thing that is difficult during this time, now my anniversary's passed, so I'm kind of over it. Not everyone will understand what your anniversary means to you. And maybe for not every woman finds their anniversary to be as important as I find it to be. You know, we're all different, right? I'm only telling you my journey. So for me, my anniversary is extremely important. Not everyone will understand it. They just won't. Say my oldest daughter, always, I'm gonna start to cry. She was the only one last year for my 1 year that even did anything. And she had sent me, she lives in California, sent me a huge bouquet of pink balloons. Oh, here's a picture of them. I still have a picture of them. And this year she had the I Beat Cancer sign. She would have loved to fly here, but they're having a child like any day, well, any week now. It's like within 2 or 3 weeks. And then with COVID going on and everything. So she got that sign, the pink heart floats that are floating. She got me those and sparkly balls. And my mom helped decorate everything. And so my mom this year really got involved with it. And then my husband was the one who got me out of the house to go and let my nail guys know that it was my 2 years. So they got a cake. And so they did better this year. My middle child will probably never understand. She is just different, built different than my oldest. My oldest and I are very similar. My middle child, not so much, more like her dad. Just empathy is not one of those things. And, you know, my oldest tries to talk to her sister and, you know, say, do you not understand that this date could mean something different? And she just doesn't, you know, so it is what it is. I'm not, I don't think that she doesn't love me. It's just she's not going to understand it. And I got to get it through my head that that's just her and not let it affect me, because it does affect me. You know, when I feel like you just don't understand, you know. And then my son, of course, he's too young. And he's a boy. But he's always happy to have a party. Because I know there were a couple people that had DM'd me that didn't have people to celebrate with, and I'm like, man, I'll celebrate with you, like, best I can. You know, you let me know, and I will, like, as much as I could be there for you, because I completely and utterly understand how important an anniversary is. I think that the other thing that makes it so important is that there are so many women that eventually it stops, whether it's 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, like, I don't know. That's the other emotional thing, is that that weighs on you during this time, weighs on me during this time, is you say I'm cancer free, but how do we really know that? you know, because I was cancer-free till I had a mammogram, you know, I didn't know. You know, obviously they do the tests that they can do, but we just don't know what's happening, you know, we don't know what's going on. And so when I do hit a milestone, like the 2-year, it's just emotional because I'm still here. I don't know if I'll hit 3-year, 4-year, 5-year, 20-year. Pray I do, but it's really not up to me. I do everything that I can do and choose to do, and yeah. The other trigger is anytime I run into a woman that is either a breast cancer survivor or going through breast cancer, it's just like a gut punch. I mean, it just tears my heart out. You know, I don't go out as much as before COVID. And I felt like that first year, I literally met a cancer survivor or someone going through cancer everywhere I went. Waitresses, I mean, everywhere I went, there was someone that was either fighting cancer, a cancer survivor, or a family member. And I was just like, it was like, I just never wanted to leave the house. It was just so crazy. And then follow-up appointments, when you go, for me, when I would go like into the plastic surgeon for a follow-up appointment or the oncologist and I'd see other cancer patients there, that was a trigger. And I would start crying. Now it is less now in my 2nd year than it was in my 1st. In my 1st, I was just a basket case. I cried all the time, and like, because it just felt like just like cancer patients everywhere. In 2020, I really didn't go a whole lot of places. Most of my appointments were virtual, which thank you for that, because that I didn't run into as many people. So just be aware, and I think it's perfectly natural to feel these things. So if you're feeling them, then again, your journey's your journey. If you don't feel those things, that's okay too. You know, I'm just, for me, those are triggers and things that I know now that this is going to hit me. You know, my anniversary is going to hit me. If I meet a cancer patient, that's going to hit me. And so, you know, these are just some of the things that are, you know, triggers. But otherwise, I don't think about it every day like I used to, like the first year. So I will end this by saying it will get better. You won't be thinking cancer, cancer, cancer every day. That's the emotional part. The other thing is will there be good days and will there be bad days? Yes. But as I've moved through, the first year was the hardest. The 2nd year, of course, then we get COVID, you know, I mean, okay, breast cancer in 2019, COVID in 2020, yay! And then here we are, 2021, still with COVID, and now the Delta variant. And of course, it worries me. My son's been vaccinated, my husband's vaccinated, my mom's been vaccinated. So, I mean, my family's been vaccinated, and they do it to protect me because I have an autoimmune disorder as well. I got an array, let me tell you, y'all. And for right now, my physician and I, we're on the fence about whether to get the vaccine or not, because it is a risk, and I am also allergic to about 20 medications. So we're still, you know, but I wear a mask everywhere I go, and I don't go a whole lot of places. So there you go. Like, am I ever gonna get back to like at least some form of who Darlene was? And that's the last thing that I will say is you may never be who you once were, and I don't mean physically, because physically, remember, doesn't matter. Breast, no breast, 2 breasts, 1 breast, doesn't matter. The scars on the outside are 1/10 of the scars that are in the inside of us, I personally think. My scars on my breast are going to be with me forever. The scars on the inside, I think, are the biggest scars, but over time, they will lessen. I promise you that they will lessen. You won't worry as much. You won't be, hopefully, as anxiety ridden. about it. You won't think about it every day. That first 6 months, every day it was just about cancer, 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 cancer. And then slowly it becomes, maybe it's a weekly thing and then a monthly thing. And now for me, I honestly don't think about it unless I'm doing a mammogram, which is extremely stressful. I recently had mine a couple months ago. And now, of course, I never worried about a mammogram before. Now, of course, it makes it a little more stressful. So you will need to prepare yourself for that first mammogram. And maybe this is my second one, and it still was as stressful as the first one. I don't think they're going to get any less stressful. But I will say that the scars on the inside will heal and your emotions will calm. And eventually, at your own pace, at your own time, you will get to a place where you feel like your old self, you know? It may be an altered version of your old self. Like, I'll never physically and mentally be who I once was. I had cancer. I am a cancer survivor. That changes you. It just does. And what I can say is, take it and try and make something positive out of it. If it's helping a friend, if it's going down to the local cancer center and helping there, if it's just creating a blog or just reaching out to people, because that certainly has helped me. Other people, that might not work for them. You may just want to forget all about it. And that's the thing. Everybody's journey is their own. It's going to be my mantra. I'm going to get a t-shirt that says that. But you're going to feel certain time, you know, when it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, that's going to hit you. Be prepared. When you have your first, second, third, fifth, 20th, it's going to hit you. Cancer anniversary, cancer-free anniversary, that's going to hit you. At least it did me, you know. So those are the things I'd say be prepared for. God willing, I will be here for my third, and we will update, and I will update you then as well. As always, I just want to take this time to thank you so much for those of you that have reached out to me, given me your love, your support, your thoughts, your prayers. And for those of you that have shared your journey with me, shared your breast cancer story, or your sisters or your mothers or family members, that means so much to me. And my thoughts and prayers are always with every single one of you that are about to fight this disease, are in the middle of fighting this disease, or have beat it and you are now living as a cancer survivor. So thank you for sharing that with me. All right, guys, well, I will see you in a year. Well, I will see you sooner than that, but I will see you in the next video. But it just, I'll see you in a year to celebrate my third cancer-free anniversary. Thank you for watching, guys.